Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Corner, and today I've got some guests with me. It's some of my fellow trustees from Elizabeth's group. I've got our treasurer, Peter Munro.
Hello.
And our talented trustee, Heather Watson.
Hello, Sue.
Hi. Well, unbelievably, it's almost International Women's Day again. And that means that our Elizabeth will have been standing in Bridge Street for a whole year. It's her birthday. And I was just thinking back to what we were going through at this time last year. Do you remember, Peter?
I do.
How excited we were with the build-up.
Well, excited, but also a little apprehensive. I quite liked raising the money, but actually spending it as a Yorkshireman I found really quite difficult.
It was an awful lot of money involved, wasn't there?
There was an awful lot of money involved.
How much did our statue actually cost us, Treasurer?
Altogether, it was about £75,000.
Wow. Just think we raised that money in 4 years. That's some good project, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and that's the good people of Congleton, of course.
Yes.
You know, digging deep. And of course, all our wonderful people that gave us grants, you know, the Enclosure Trust particularly were very good, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah, they were early on, and they gave us one of our first donations, and they gave us one of our last ones, and they gave us a donation for the event, didn't they?
Yes, I remember, it was about 4 years ago, 2018, when on International Women's Day, you and Heather were dressed up as suffragettes, getting very wet and very cold.
Oh yeah, the Beast of the East.
You did a march on International Women's Day and decided after a talk in the afternoon that what you'd quite like to do is to set up a group to remember Elizabeth Wollstonecraft-Elmy, the suffragette who'd lived in the town for over 50 years but had been forgotten. So you set up a group.
I did.
And the idea at first was to do a plaque. And I remember Heather actually drew a design of a plaque that we thought could go in the centre of town. And that was going to be it.
Indeed it was. Heather, and of course I used to refer to you as Eeyore because you kept saying, "Oh, we can't get all that money." How do you feel about it now?
I'm just surprised and happily surprised that the people of Congleton managed to raise that much, because
Indeed.
At the time I didn't think that we could possibly get that amount of money, and remember that the years that we were raising it included the COVID years as well.
Indeed they did,
which
the pandemic.
didn't help.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't at all. No, I think we can be very proud of ourselves as well as the lovely statue that we've got.
I think we can, and I think one of the things we did at the very start was to register with the Charity Commission.
Yes,
and that
yes,
Kay
very
did that
important.
work.
She did.
Kay got that done for us.
Anybody, any member of the public can go onto the Charity Commission and see our accounts. Every penny is accounted for, how we spent it, and it's all there, so we have nothing to fear for being publicly examined in that way at all. It's just been really, really good.
Yeah, I feel quite proud when we actually put the Charity Commission returns in every year, that we've actually got right down to the last penny a record of what we've spent. So I feel quite proud for the group about that.
And so you should be. No, you should be. Put a lot of hard work in that and doing the grants. And of course, over the 4 years, we've done other things as well. We got the new bypass named. That was an achievement. That was lovely, with lots of lobbying done, and when that came off I was particularly pleased. And Heather, you've done an amazing piece of work on the Heritage Trail. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, the Heritage Trail was quite interesting to do, because it involved finding out as much as I could about Elizabeth and Ben Elmy, because let's face it, Elizabeth couldn't have done a lot of what she did without Ben's backing, because, you know, behind every strong woman is a man to support her.
They were a team.
They were definitely a team. So I enjoyed doing the research. It's what I'm better at, really. And it's a good trail around the town showing you various locations that had events in the life of both Elizabeth and Ben. Unfortunately, a lot of the buildings that are involved have either gone or are derelict, But even so, it is worth a walk round, because each section of the walk tells you a bit about their lives, and even where the building is not there, a little bit of imagination.
Yeah, because you have put together this wonderful map and lots of information on it that people can pick up at the information centre in town at the town hall. And there's lots of pictures on there as well, isn't there, of what the buildings looked like when they were in good condition.
That's right, that's right. And hopefully the walk is, you can either do it in one huge bite or two smaller bites if you want to not spend as long on it, because it'll probably take you a couple of hours to do the whole thing, but you can do it in two loops to make it shorter. And it does bring them to life a bit more by being able to walk round and sort of imagine the things that they would have done at the time.
Yeah. And of course you did that little quiz for children that are doing it. They can go around and look for different things, and that's actually with the maps in the information centre as well.
Yeah.
So if families want to do it, it's a nice
day out summer months.
A
children's quiz that as you walk round, there are questions on there. The only thing I would say is, I think there is one question at the Lion and Swan, and the Lion and Swan moved the lions to the back, so they might not be quite as visible as they were when I originally did the trail.
Sue them, put in a complaint, how dare you move your lions. And of course, something else that we've got is a wonderful website, which Councillor Kay Wesley built for us, and that's there. That's www.elizabethelmy.com, or if you put in Elizabeth Elmy into Google, we come up as top. That's marvellous. First on the list.
Yes, I think we got the money from the National Heritage Lottery for that.
We did.
That was our first major grant, £10,000 from the Heritage Lottery, and we were told to get money out of the Heritage Lottery was like squeezing blood from a stone, but they clearly liked what we were doing and gave us the money to actually get set up.
That was a red letter day, because there was only one group in the whole of the Northwest that got the grant, and that was us, so that was another good day. But going back to the actual day, it was beautiful. The weather was wonderful, the sun was shining, the children were out, the bands were playing, and we had a Victorian market type thing with games, and you put those together, didn't you, Heather? Do you want to talk about those for a minute?
Yes, it was, we made a bagatelle, which was to roll the little wooden balls on the board to score as much as you could. We had a hoopla, and we were manning these through until the actual unveiling of the statue, and people seemed to enjoy that. I think that created a bit of fun, and I was just generally amazed that, considering that International Women's Day dropped on a weekday, that we had crowds such that Bridge Street was actually packed with people, and it was amazing. We also had a photo op board, being able to have your photo taken looking as if you were chained to a fence. I don't know whether anybody posted those onto.
I don't remember seeing so many of those. So much went on.
If anybody out there still got photos of themselves on that board, by all means post them onto our Facebook page.
Yeah, we'd love to see them. That would be really.
We still have the board. It's in our garage.
Oh, we do.
And whenever I go in on a dark night, and it actually frightens me to death. I mean, someone stood there.
A malevolent suffragette trying to grab you with no face.
Yes.
We also had a book written for children, which has gone down really, really well. And the other thing that we did on the day of the unveiling was a Punch and Judy, and it had to be, of course, a politically correct Punch and Judy. And so our Punch and Judy, Punch actually repents and he joins the white ribbon and takes the pledge, which is absolutely brilliant. But unfortunately, it was probably the least successful thing of the day, because we didn't realise that when you're in a box talking, nobody can hear you. But we've now perfected that. We've still got our Punch and Judy, and we've still got the wonderful script that was written by one of our other trustees, Dan Cook, and we will be performing that again. We've done it at the town park for the Jubilee, and it went down great there because we had microphones, and we're going to be doing it again at Easter, so look out for us on the 4th of April. We'll be in the town centre doing the Punch and Judy, and this time, children, you will be able to hear us. But for me, the greatest part of the whole day was meeting Baroness Lady Hale of Richmond. She was already a hero of mine, but meeting her on that day was just phenomenal. Sometimes, you know, these famous people, you think they're absolutely great, and then when you meet them, they're a big letdown. But not Brenda Hale. She was absolutely wonderful, wasn't she, Peter?
She
you
was.
picked her up, yeah.
I picked her up from the station in Stoke. So we had a long chat before we got to Congleton, and she was absolutely amazing. As Sue said, you often see these people and think, oh yes, they never meet the expectations you've got of them. But Brenda Hale actually exceeded that. She really was excellent.
Yeah. And she's continued to be interested as well. She's been in touch with me a few times to ask how Elizabeth is. She's just a wonderful woman, a real hero.
And it was great that there we have a statue of a major campaigner, Elizabeth, being unveiled by another brilliant campaigner for human rights, and a statue that was actually there in the town centre because of a group of other campaigning women, the trustees of Elizabeth's group.
Well, thank you. Yes, definitely. Well, the thing that struck me was that Brenda and Elizabeth were the same height. And of course, the thing that was really funny was Brenda whipped off the veil at a count of 5 instead of waiting for 10. Yeah, it was a good day. Brilliant. Elizabeth's going to be a year old on the 8th of March, International Women's Day. So we have to do something to commemorate it. We thought we'd have some birthday celebrations. And Heather, you tell us about what's going to happen on the 8th.
Well, hopefully, if it's a nice day, we're going to be down at the statue from approximately 12 until 2, and we're hoping to be able to give out some birthday cake in the form of little fairy cakes or something to people who come to visit the statue during those times. So please come along and see us.
Sing happy birthday.
Yes, we might actually have a chorus of happy birthday, and if the weather isn't so good, we may be able to have a gazebo, or we may shelter in a doorway. But please come and see us, and please come and say happy birthday to Elizabeth.
Yes, and on the 11th, which is the Saturday after International Women's Day, we've got a birthday celebration at the Old Sawmill. And that's open to everybody. It's a £5 a ticket. There'll be tea or coffee and cake. And we've got a visiting speaker. And we're really excited about this because we've got Dr. Maureen Wright coming. Dr. Wright is Elizabeth's biographer and is the patron of our group. And she's going to come along and talk. Her talk is entitled Women's Suffrage in 7 Portraits. She will be speaking from 2 o'clock, so come along and join us and we'll all have a happy time.
Yes, what we haven't mentioned is our sculptor, Hazel Reeves.
Yes,
because
sorry Hazel.
What we haven't got is how we moved from a plaque designed by Heather to a bronze statue. It's sculpted by a nationally famous, award-winning sculptor, Hazel Reeves.
Yeah.
And I think that happened because, Sue, you decided that perhaps Elizabeth needed rather more than just a plaque and needed a statue. And you heard about the unveiling of the Emmeline Pankhurst statue.
Yeah. I actually saw a little documentary on the television on the BBC, the making of our Emmeline, and I saw it sort of unfolding. But just backtracking a little bit, I think we decided on the statue because just after we set up on International Women's Day, towards the end of that month of March, the first sculpture of a woman was unveiled in Parliament Square, and it was Millicent Fawcett. who was a contemporary of Elizabeth. And round the base of that statue in London, there are the photographs of 58 influential women, and our Elizabeth is right there at the front under Millicent Fawcett's right foot. So we thought, well, if she's remembered in London, she's got to be remembered here in Congleton. And that was the point when we thought, for Heather, keep your plaque, darling. We're going to go for a bronze statue. At that time, thinking it might cost a couple of £1,000. Little did we know, talking about Innocents Abroad. And then, of course, I saw the programme on the television, and I cheekily, because I've been very cheeky these last 4 years, I emailed Hazel Reeves and I said, oh, we're wanting a statue of Elizabeth. And she came back and said, I've never heard of this woman, I'll get back. And she did the week after, absolutely glowing, saying, wow, I have never heard of this little woman. I would love to do her statue. And she came down, stayed with us a couple of days, had a look at the town, fell in love with Congleton and fell in love with Elizabeth, and said, OK, raise the money and we'll do it.
Yes, and we were invited to the unveiling, Elizabeth's group.
Yes,
to the unveiling of Emmeline Pankhurst.
Yes, we did, and we dressed up in all our suffragette, got our banner and pushed onto every photograph we possibly could.
Annoyingly, but it's what we do.
Yes, it's what we've done. Yeah.
And can we remember at that point that one of our other trustees was still with us there, Ethel Ransom, who enjoyed that day as much as anybody.
She did, no, really sad loss. She was right there from the beginning. Ethel, a really good friend, a stalwart, a strength to the group, and sadly died in the first lockdown, not of COVID, it was something else, but very, very quickly took ill, and we lost her, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, and she would have been with us on that on the unveiling very definitely. I made the point of mentioning her in my speech because she had to be mentioned because it was Ethel.
Well, the other thing she enjoyed and was absolutely over the moon about was her appearance on Channel 5 with Celebrity 5 Go Barging.
Yes, yes, that one.
Yes, that one. Yes, 15 minutes of recording for 4 minutes on the screen.
Yeah, I laugh about it because sometimes I watch it again, and of course it was very early. I think it was the April after we first started, and I really didn't know an awful lot about Elizabeth. I just started talking, and I said all sorts of stuff that probably not even true, but nobody noticed, so we're all right. Yeah. So the dates are International Women's Day, the 8th of March, and we are there from 12 till 2 with cake and birthday celebrations. And then on the 11th, we've got a speaker, Dr. Maureen Wright, at the Sawmill, £5 entry, tea and coffee and cake.
We might even dig out the photo board.
Oh, yes, we might even dig out the photo board. Okay, thank you, and goodbye from Elizabeth's Corner. Bye, guys.
Bye then.
Bye.